Hello and welcome to an installation video of the Troy Battle Rail for the AK-47. Today I'll be installing the short bottom rail version and the top railed gas tube. Now, even though you can sometimes find a package deal on these, most of the time they're sold separately. Let's go ahead and see what each one comes with. Now first, let's open the top railed gas tube. And inside, got this foam and instructions, and that's what this comes with. Now for the bottom rail, we have the rail itself. The instructions were in here earlier, but I took them out, and an Allen wrench. And that's what the bottom rail comes with. Now the selling points for me on this Troy top rail is because, one, it's adjustable for length, meaning if you have your gas block a little too far forward or a little too far back on your AK, this is perfectly adjustable for that, and then you lock it down with the castle nut. Also, it doesn't touch the barrel in any way, shape, or form, and it's very easy to remove in case you want to clean your gas tube. Now the reason I also went ahead and picked up the Troy Battle Rail's lower rail portion is not just because it matches with the upper rail gas tube, but mostly because of the way that it mounts to the AK-47. Utilizing the original design for a handguard, this U-shaped bracket that's fully adjustable mounts just like a normal handguard would. Most rail systems out there that I've seen don't do that. In fact, they have some sort of weird mounting options that include brackets, and sometimes makes you plug up the hole that stores your cleaning rod. This one does not. In fact, you can still go ahead and access your cleaning rod and put it under your AK-47. Not to mention, I believe that this is the only rail option out there that keeps your AK-47 with that iconic AK-47 look. Now there is another installation video here on YouTube where the person was obviously given the product to review, and in that video, while showing the rail, he says this is what it comes with. And when he does that, the rail had already had 2 rail segments and some squids already installed in the lower rail. However, when you buy it, the only extra thing this rail portion comes with is an Allen wrench. Everything else is sold separately. So what's the cost of this setup? Well, the MSRP on the short bottom rail is $125. The top rail is $150. These squibs, well, a 7-pack of those are going to set you back $25. And the rail segments are going to go anywhere between $15 and $25, depending on the length of the rail segment you want, and that's per rail segment. This quick disconnect and cooling hole low profile mount, that set me back $32. I think the MSRP on that is $35. However, there are a lot of great deals out there to be had. You don't have to pay MSRP. In fact, I was able to pick this all up for around $275. You just have to look hard and be patient. Now, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and install the Troy Battle Rail. First and foremost, we're going to need to install any rail segments that you have, as you're not going to be able to do it really after you've installed this bottom rail. Okay, so now after completely disassembling the rifle, I'm ready to go ahead and put on the lower rail portion of the battle rail. Before I do that though, let me go ahead and show you this. This is a 3.2-inch rail segment, and it fits the 4-hole spots. If you were wanting to put a rail segment up here with the 3-hole spots, you would want to look for the 2-inch rail segment. Okay, so putting this part here of the rail in the receiver, like so, and then getting the retaining bracket to match up with the rail a little bit, you can then put that on like so. Next, just go ahead and move forward the retaining bracket and lock it down. Now my retaining bracket went on pretty easy. I was able to do it with my hands, If it's not that easy, sometimes it fits a little bit tighter, just go ahead and get a punch and a mallet and just tap that forward. Now if I was to leave it on here just like it is now, it would stay on, but it would be very loose. That's where these adjustment screws come in. They push forward these two portions right here against the retaining bracket until it locks up rock solid. Now don't forget, blue Loctite is your friend. If you want, you can go ahead and put a little blue Loctite on each one of these adjustment screws before tightening it down. Now there are some tools to make this a little bit easier, but I'm going to go ahead and use the supplied Allen wrench to do this. It is possible, it just takes a lot of patience. Another thing worth noting is when tightening these down, don't just do one without the other. Try to do the same amount of adjusting on either side so that it's nice and even. In order to do this with the supplied Allen wrench, what I'm doing is just kind of halfway getting it in the hole and then turning it on either side. Now I'm doing this with the Allen wrench provided for two reasons. One, to prove that this can be done just by using this Allen wrench. And two, well, I don't have the flex joint screwdriver that would come in very handy right now. But there it is, nice and tight now. Doesn't move anywhere. These are now firmly pressed up against the retaining bracket. And that was the hardest part of the installation. Next is the upper rail gas tube. So now that we have the bottom portion of the Troy battle rail locked in place and it ain't going nowhere, we'll go ahead and put in the rail gas tube. Now this locks right into the receiving block. Therefore, it doesn't really need to be leveled. However, you can level it, and I will, just to be on the safe side. And then we just adjust the front screw or portion until it meets up with the gas block. Move the castle nut down a little bit so I can get a little bit more of a tightening on here. Alright, that is pretty tight. And then tighten down the castle nut. I'm going to do this by hand as I don't have a small castle nut wrench. And just with hand tightening, this is very solid, is not going to move anywhere. I'm really happy with the Troy battle rail. Not only the way this looks, but the way it performs. It's rock solid, not just the gas tube, but also the lower rail portion of the Troy battle rail. Let's go ahead and assemble the rifle back together and see how she looks. Alright guys, this is how she looks on the rifle. I think it looks pretty good. Still looks like an AK-47. Now, did you notice where the quick disconnect is? Oh, you probably noticed now. It goes right in here, but it's not that much different looking than a normal squid. Let's go ahead and turn it around and look on the other side. Got the angled foregrip on there. And I really love not only the look, but the fit and the function of the Troy battle rail. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you later.